So let's go ahead and jump in. So today's guest is a recent friend. This brother is just authentic. Like, I'm just telling you, you have to follow him. There is not another financial motivator in what he's doing out here with his level of authenticity and care for you to win in your finances. But he's also a great family man. So let me just intro so that you know why you should listen to him. He's one of the nation's top financial educators, personal finance expert, business coach, motivational speaker, former 15-year career bank executive, and author of many books and Amazon best-selling books. He's dubbed as the Financial Motivator, uses a culturally responsive approach in teaching financial literacy, wealth building, and entrepreneurship. He's the founder and chief financial educator at MindRight Money Management, a financial education and media company that blends psychology and personal finance with music, pop culture, and relevant news to help people manage their money better in order to live the life that they want. Mr. Cash Exantus.
Dr. Brad, thank you, man. Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here. Always, I love the fellowship. Always excited when I can share with my fellow brothers, my fellow gods, little G, and we'll talk about that.
Come on.
Yes,
And
yes.
so we talked about this before we hopped on, man. You're just such an authentic person. I appreciate your genuine desire to want to see people win, which is in an area that you've had some success in and some wins in, which is in the financial world. But you do it in a very cool way. Y'all can see the flat brim hats in the back, but y'all can also see the books on the second shelf. These are the things that I like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So tell me real quick, man. I want to know your story. So from a selfish perspective, how'd you kind of get to this point to where you got this platform where you help so many people? I mean, he's been on CNN. He's been on. If you go to his website, you'll see it all. But how did you get to where you are now? And then we'll talk about there may be a time where you were winning so much that it came at the cost of some things. But tell us the story first.
Yeah. I'm a kid from St. Nicholas houses. I'm from the projects, man. I'm from Harlem, New York City. I'm the youngest of three. So I grew up in a low income household. But just something at an early age just told me that wasn't what life was supposed to be. And so I've been an entrepreneur most of my life. Started packing bags at the age of 8 years old, right? 8 years old, packing bags at the local supermarket. Graduated to, selling mixtapes and T-shirts at 125th Street at the age of 12 years old. Got my first job when I was 17 at the video store. Fresh out the Blockbuster videos. Rest in peace, the Blockbuster. Right? And so started there. It was actually by chance. Where one of the assistant managers from Blockbuster said, "Hey, they're hiring for tellers at Chase Bank. Are you interested in doing it?" I knew I was already an assistant manager at Blockbuster. I knew there was, no upward mobility but a store manager. I'm like, that then it has to be more. Took the interview at Chase Bank, and the rest was sort of history. I started my banking career. I was 19 years old. I always had a love for money, love for finance, but working actually in a bank just taught me the difference between why people are rich monetarily and why people are poor monetarily. And it comes to mindset, it comes to the mindset. And so, I did everything in banking from personal banker, branch manager, private banker, branch manager, CEO of a credit union. So I did everything, kind of just took it to the highest level. And, in the words of the Honorable Sean Carter, there's much bigger issues in the world I know, but I first had to take care of the world I know. One of the things I realized was that as I was working as a wealth manager, the people didn't look like me. The people that I was, helping didn't come from my community, didn't have the same background. And I thought that, as somebody who, grew up in the projects, grew up low income, knew both languages, because now, I'm in the C-suite in the bank, but then I can still go to the corner and bang with the homies,
No doubt.
And I said, I gotta mix that best of both worlds. And so my career I started out, volunteering. I used to go to churches, jails, Rikers Island. I used to just, volunteer in inner city schools, just teaching financial education. And I just fell in love with it. And I remember watching Oprah one day, and Oprah said, the key to happiness is to find something that you love, then figure out how to make money doing it. And I said, oh, this is it. I love volunteering. I love speaking, teaching. And I said, so how do I make money out of it? And the rest is history. I wrote my first book, 2009, and God has blessed me with a career where I've written 8 books. 4 of them have been bestsellers. I have an international fan base now. You think of it, any media outlet you could think of, I've probably been on it. But most importantly, I have a great impact. People connect with me, and I'm able to help people change their mindsets in order to live their best lives. And I think I honestly just believe that's why we're all put here. And that's why earlier when I said, I want to talk to my fellow gods, little g, because I don't care what scripture you read, the Quran, the Bible, any scripture you read, they all start with Adam. They all say that we are made in the image and likeness of God. And so if I'm made in the image and likeness of God, when I look at you, I'm looking at God. And so if I'm supposed I use this acronym that says God is greatness on display. If God is greatness on display, then I need to first be a demonstration. I need to demonstrate my greatness first and foremost. But secondly, I need to help you see the God in you, because if I'm looking at you, I'm also looking at God, little g, right? And that's what I think our purpose is to maximize our full potential. And I want other people to see that there's no limits, because we're made in the image and likeness of God.
Thank you. The interview is now over. Hey, man, we can stop there. Let me just tell you, and it's so funny that you're talking about this, because this has been a recent discussion that I've had with some other men that I've been talking about. And it's kind of been this thing that, how you'll hear something and maybe you've heard it for years, but you hear it again and then it just really strikes a chord.
Yeah.
So, man, just a couple of days ago, we were talking about, we were talking about the Bible, we were talking about Adam, and we were talking about he was made in God's image. Mm-hmm. That at some point, some people talk about how you couldn't tell the difference between Adam. You almost couldn't tell the difference between Adam and God, because he had made him in such that thing. And that's the thing, is we were made in his image, and we have forgotten as men who we've been created to be. Mm-hmm. We've listened to the narrative of other people for our lives. We have inherited some of the stuff, from before us, from maybe poor decisions that were made in our families before us, and we've taken this stuff and we've completely forgotten who we are. Yes. Or some of us just haven't found who we are. And if there's anything that we can do, and now I know what we're about to talk about today, is how can we maximize our full potential? For sure. As men. Yeah. Because, and mind you, this does not discriminate if you're high achieving and if you're doing well in life. Yeah. Because if at the end of the day, you're sitting here thinking, man, I know, like, there's just something more. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not hitting it. I'm not getting it. Yeah. You mentioned something, being able to take what you love and make money with it. And you and I know it's not all about money, but however, there is a calling. Absolutely. That we all have. And one of the things I love is you are an example of someone who is fulfilling that specific purpose. That's what I call it, calling. That's a specific thing that you're trying to do in life, that you've been called to do in life. And often it's been because you've experienced what it's like to not have money. Absolutely. In the past. And so we have to believe that we are gods and kings. Yes, little g, because we are not the God, but yes, little g. Yeah. So let's talk about how we as men, Ash, can fulfill our full potential.
Yeah, I think number one is really understanding that main principle, right? That ye are gods, right? But I also think that when we start looking at our stories, when we look at everything that we've been through, we have to understand that what we've been through wasn't to punish us, wasn't to to stop us from getting anything. It's actually to make us credible messengers, right? And so I've been somebody who can you imagine if I didn't grow, like if I grew up in Parsippany, New Jersey. I mean, no disrespect to Parsippany. I don't even know nobody from Parsippany. It just sounds like a place, you know what I'm saying? So somebody listening, if you from Parsippany, respectfully, I don't mean no disrespect, but if I was born in Parsippany, New Jersey, how would I demonstrate God? Right? Because if I grew up in a space where I didn't go through struggle, I didn't go through certain things in life, then I wouldn't be so adamant and so clear that anything that I put my mind to can happen. Right? If you think about a caterpillar, if the caterpillar didn't go through that process of having to break through the chrysalis in order for it to be a butterfly, what story would the butterfly have to, if it was born a butterfly, what story would it have to tell? And so I think that number one, that we need to just look at our story, right? Look at your story. Look at the things that you went through. Look at the things that you've overcome. Look at the things that people come to you for. Look at the things that, make you excited. Like, why do you wake up every morning? What makes you excited about life? Not, I want to pay my bills. Not, I want to be a provider. Because the truth of the matter is that being a provider is all ego-based, and especially for men, right? Because for us, we wake up and we say, I got to provide for my family, but God already provided for all of us, right? Abundance is our birthright. Like, we are born taken care of. And so if our main focus is, you know what, I'm going to make sure that I provide for my family, that is because we're thinking in lack. That's because we really don't understand that God already took care of everything for us. And what we need to do, what the saying says, if you're waiting on God, do what waiters do, and that is to serve. Our goal is to serve. And if you think about it, instead of thinking about the providing aspect of what we have to do, think about service, right? Who are you serving? Who are you serving with your gift? Because if you serve enough people, your family will be going to be taken care of anyway, right? They're always going to be taken care of. And so I think number one is really understanding that anything you think about, anything that you want in life is yours already, because, God has made us abundant. Abundance is our birthright. But number two, we have to stop putting money as number one. Right? Money is the, if you read Think and Grow Rich, the 12 steps to riches, money is the last one. If you are I'm a big Reverend Ike fan, right? Reverend Ike talks about what's the six things? Good health, right? Love, success, prosperity, and then money, right? So think about that. You have to have good health first and foremost, right? After good health, I forgot about happiness, right? So good health, happiness, love, success, prosperity, and money. If we start to put things in that order, when we want to make sure we are the healthiest that we could be, mind, body, and spirit, right? We're feeding our mind, we're feeding our body, we're feeding our spirit so it could be healthy. We're making sure that the things that we do make us happy. We make sure that we're leading with love. Lead with love. If what you wake up and do every single day, if you don't love it, you're doing the wrong thing. You have to absolutely lead with love. When you have those three things, when you have good health, when you're happy, and you lead with love, it's going to allow you to automatically become successful. With that success, you get your prosperity, and there's no way you could be successful, have prosperity, and the money doesn't come. And so for a lot of us, we've been putting money first, right? Money is a terrible master. We've been putting money first. And because we've been putting money first, that's how you feel empty. That's why you feel like, man, I'm making money. Why am I not happy? Because we put that first. And I'm not saying this from a theological perspective. This is not a theory. Like, I was that guy, right? I was the guy who put money first, right? They call me Ass Cash, right? Like I put the money's in my name, right? Before you even put my last name, right? Ash Cash, right? It was in the name. And so I was somebody, I was always on the grind. I was always, like, hey, I got to provide for my family. And so I'm going to take away, right, my presence. I'm going to grind. I'm going to do all these things because I feel like I have to take care of my family. Married, I've been with my wife 17 years, 2 kids. So I'm like, nah, and I didn't want to hear nothing nobody had to say. I'm like, nah, I'm a man. I'm a man first, and I got to take care of my family. But what's happening as I'm taking care of my family, right? I'm not home. I'm grinding. And then when I am home, I'm too tired to interact with my family. And now my daughter's getting big before my face. Her relationship with my wife is stronger than my relationship with her. And I'm losing out on the things that actually matter. Right? I'm missing out on happiness. I'm missing out on love. My health is not good because I'm grinding so much. So all the things that actually matter, good health, happiness, and love, I'm not even getting those things.
Man, so much in everything that you're talking about right now. Again, just to kind of recap, service must be above success.
Absolutely.
Service must be above the money. And you're right, man. We've made money the mission. We made money the mission. And I think you agree, ain't nothing wrong with money, but it's got to be in its proper place. And the more we're like, I got to do this to and then we give this idea. I'm doing this for my family. I'm grinding and getting all this money from the family. But the family never just said, hey man, we need money. Like, we need money from you. It's like, no, we need you. We want you. Absolutely. We want you. We want you around. And so whenever I hear someone say that, I'm like, you need to start asking the question, how can I be able to get money and be at home? How can I be home? How can I not? I got to do this at the expense of my family. Yep. But you said something, and I want to unpack this a little bit, because it sounds like you've been in that place before where money, like you said, money was first. Money's in your name. Yeah. Tell us what happened, man, because were you going after it, and then you got this aha moment. Tell us what happened in your life to where it's like, man, I'm chasing, right? I'm chasing it, but now I can't put money first. I gotta put the service first. Yeah. You sound like you're talking from experience, bro. Yeah, so
for sure.
What happened?
Yeah, I think, number one was really just watching, myself self-destruct, honestly, right? Being on the grind, first to wake up, last to go to sleep, not really building a solid foundation, with my family. And then, looking at, let's say my wife build this relationship with my daughter. And then I'm like, man, I wish I had a stronger relationship. And my wife was like, well, I wish you were here. I wish you were, and I think that was one of the biggest realizations, was that, man, like, all of these stories and all of these, walks in the parks that they had, and all these museum trips and all these things that, they're now talking about. And I'm sitting there like, I don't remember that. They're like, yeah, because you weren't there. And I think that hurt. I think number two, I'm somebody who, chasing a dollar, we almost lost everything, right? And so my transition from working a 9 to 5, I'm a banker, I'm making 6 figures. I at the time equated fame to money. And so because I wrote this book and I was on the radio and television, I said, you know what, I'm just gonna quit my job, and now I'm just gonna go after entrepreneurship full time. Not realizing that at least with a 9 to 5, I know exactly where I'm gonna be, how much I'm gonna make, and everything like that. As an entrepreneur, wound up jumping out the window. And then, I made some good money, but it wasn't 6 figures my first year. And so now I've already created this lifestyle now, right? I created this jail almost. I'm grinding. And now I got this lifestyle that my family's living that I can't maintain anymore. Right? Because I quit my job. And so now I'm grinding even harder. Right. And so, I might have worked 60 hours working in a bank. Now I'm working 80 and 90 hours a week trying to, catch up. About 2011, it caught up. Almost went through foreclosure. Wasn't able to really, afford, the house anymore. My daughter's 2 at the time, trying to figure things, and so it just got to a space where I was like, nah, I got to do something different. And so I just started really kind of rethinking things. But then still, even in that space, I kept reminding myself that I kept reminding myself about the struggle, right? And so even after getting out of foreclosure and being able to save the house and going back to work and really, still getting to a space of now I'm making more money. Now things are sweet. Now things are going great. So I thought. I now started saying, well, I'm making the money. I'm bringing an income. Now we don't ever have to worry about foreclosure. I'm using that story now as a validation for why I'm not in the house, why I'm always on the grind, why I'm spending, I'm traveling throughout the country. I'm spending so much time in hotels and going to conference to conference to conference and really big, now I got this name. Now I'm on stage. Now I got public success. Now everybody's clapping for me, but privately I'm a failure. I got public success, but I'm a private failure because when I go home, where's the love? I didn't cultivate it. I didn't cultivate love. I didn't cultivate a relationship. Now everybody's just going through the motion. Now, my job is to provide for my family because that's what I thought. But is that even really living my God self? Right? Am I really living my God self? If I am, if abundance is my birthright and I can have it all, then why do I have to sacrifice my family to be provided for where God provides everything? And I think that realization is what made me realize that I got to do stuff different. I got to do stuff different. I got to take a step back and I got to realize that that God is going to take care of my needs and I got to start putting my family first.
So you gotta tell me, what did you do? If somebody said, ask, like, what was the process? Because I'm there, bro. Like, somebody's watching this and I've been there, bro, going hard, doctor, home-based business owner. And I'm built to win. I'm about to make this thing happen, but it's coming at too great of a cost. Poor husband, bad decisions as a husband, Christian, father. And I look in the mirror one day, I'm like, man, I am nowhere near the man that I thought I want to be. Like, nowhere near it. There's probably some people who are there, man. What did you do to get to this mindset to where it's like, and not just the mindset, but the practices? Like, I want to know what you did so that these guys can kind of do that. So they can be like, how do I get myself out and change? Because I can tell you live in abundance, bro. Like, you probably give more stuff away than, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, like you said, you got this mentality. What did you do from that place to get to where you are now?
Yeah, honestly, it's number one, changing my relationship with money. Instead of working hard for money, I realized that money needs to work hard for me. That I wasn't the employee, right? I was coming into this game as the employee. I needed to work hard, but at the end of the day, money works for me. And so I realized that how do I do that, right? So number one, it was honestly changing my business model. A lot of what I thought I had to do was, and here's the thing, if I wanted to impact more people, it's not possible to work hard for money and impact more people, right? It's actually counter to that, because if I'm on planes and conferences and traveling and doing all these things, then I'm not fully reaching the amount of people that I can actually reach, which is one of the reasons why I started to write books, right? Not just one book, but more like, how can I duplicate myself is what I started to say. If God gave me the story and I could impact people through my story, how can I do it at a rate that doesn't cost me? Okay. I wrote a book. I created online programs. I'm doing things one time and I'm allowing it to pay me over and over and over and over again. And that actually got me to a space to where not only do I no longer exchange time for money, right? Because, that's the other thing. We all, I don't care who you know, I don't care where you're from, I don't care what your background is, we all only have 24 hours in a day.
Yep.
And so how can I stretch my 24 hours? Let me create something that's going to work over and over and over again. And I'll be honest, is at the moment that I started to see that I could, replace physical work with just doing something one time and it allowing me to pay me over and over again, that changed the trajectory of everything. I am more successful than I've ever been in my life, being able to make that shift. I serve way more people than I could ever serve. You think about if, Black Enterprise says, Ash, we want you to do a conference for us, and I'm talking to 2,000 people, once that conference is over, that's it. Right? I only impacted 2,000 people. But what if I recorded, what if I did the same speech and I recorded a course, and now I could reach 1 million people, right? And I recorded that course one time, and now it keeps reaching people over and over and over again. I'm able to serve more people. I'm able to be authentic. I'm able to now connect on a wider scale. And that's one of the blessings that I call social media, right? Because with access to social media, I literally, right? If you think about, if this was 20 years ago, I may have not had a solution. I may have been like, well, I don't know. You got to grind, right? But at the end of the day, we live in a space, right? This is one of the best times to be alive. We live in a space where you have access to every single living human being that has an internet connection, and you could connect with them, via online. Like literally, people are watching this virtually
right now.
online. We're reaching hundreds and thousands of people, some may have heard of Ash Cash, some may have never heard of Ash Cash.
That's right.
But now, this reach is different. And so if somebody says, yo, I like this brother, you know what? Let me pick up his book, MindRight Money Right, 10 Laws of Financial Freedom, right? I wrote that book in 2009. Oh, you know what? I like his Jay-Z reference. Let me pick up The Wake Up Call, Financial Lessons Learned from 444. I wrote that before, you know what I'm saying? And so what happens is when you start thinking from an abundance mindset that says, I don't have to exchange time for money, right? Because all of my needs are going to be taken care of. All I got to do is show up. And how do I show up? I'm going to show up by being my authentic self, by me being a creator, right? If I'm made in the image and likeness of God, and if God is the creator, guess who I am? I'm also a creator. And guess what creators are created to do? Create. And so I say that everybody, right? And here's the thing. The other realization that I had was that there are 4 types of people in this world. You have consumers, you have producers, you have investors, and you have philanthropists, right? Most of us are just consumers. What we do is we exchange time for money, and when we have that money, we take that money and we consume things. We pay the bills, we buy things, we consume, and then now we cut off the circulation of money, right? Like I said before, money's supposed to work hard for you. You're not supposed to work hard for money. And so now, if we became producers, right? If we say, hey, I'm a creator, I'm going to create some stuff, and we become producers. If we say, hey, I'm going to invest in property, I'm going to invest in my education, I'm going to invest in things, I'm going to invest in businesses. Now we're circulating money. When we become philanthropists, right? There's a universal law. The more you give, the more you get. When you start getting and you're giving, you now are creating that full cycle of money. And now when money comes in, it doesn't end, right? It doesn't end with you just spending it. It actually gets circulated because now you're making money. You still have to consume, but now you're producing things. Now you're investing. Now you're giving money back. And now that's that whole cycle. And with that cycle is abundance mindset. And that abundance mindset is not going to allow you to have to choose. If you move in love, you don't have to choose between providing for your family and being there for your family. I believe that and is better than or. So you can provide for your family and be there for your family. And that's ultimate good health. That's ultimate happiness. That's ultimate love. And we all just have to move in love and really put who we are first and foremost, but understand how can we duplicate ourselves? How can we create? How can we get ourselves out there to now create systems that allow our businesses to continue to thrive? And I don't care if you have a 9-to-5. I'm not anti 9-to-5, but if you have a 9-to-5, you need to have a business as well. You have something in you that you should be either producing or investing in that allows that 9-to-5 money to now get to the space where it's working for you instead of you working for it.
Man, so much, man. I'm literally over here writing. I can't write fast enough, man. For the people who've been watching this summit, y'all know I'm writing. And if you haven't figured this out, you need to be writing, because literally he's just dropping his knowledge that is extremely applicable and practical. here's the one thing that I want to ask you, Ash, is that have you always thought this way? Have you always thought this way in terms of abundance? And you know, like you said, if we were created in the image of God, then guess what? He's a creator. We need to create and all of these things, because I'm a firm believer, and I'm sure you believe the same thing. Our actions are only going to be linked to what we believe.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Many of us can't get to this place that you're talking about where we say and instead of but. Hey, how can I have the success and the fulfillment? How can I be financially free and family fulfilled? And not or but. What do you do, man, to as a mindset for you to be able to get this stuff in? Because I know you've changed over time because the beliefs have changed.
For sure.
What do you do? What's your process for getting this stuff in you?
Yeah. Yeah. I think number one, is quieting the noise, you know, and so for me, you know, when I sit back and look at a lot of the decisions I made, it was actually outside noise that allowed me to make that decision. You know, this whole notion of being a provider, this whole notion of, you know, grind hard, no sleep, right? Like that, this was all programmed. This was all stuff that was being fed to me. And so because I was, you know, I was trying to keep up with the Joneses, right? And so, you know, I'm a CEO of a bank, so I gotta look like a CEO. So I gotta buy Mercedes Benz, and I gotta, right? And so now I got the Benz, now I got the house, now I got the title, and now it's a prison. Right now, now I've created my own prison, because in order to keep up with the car payments, I gotta work. In order to keep up with the house payments, I gotta work. In order to, you know, to go out to these restaurants, I gotta work. In order to, you know, do all these superficial things that that don't necessarily provide happiness, I have to work. And so I had to quiet the noise. You know, I had to quiet the noise. I had to go within. You know, and it start, I want to say it started with just realizing that my whole life was coming apart before my eyes. Right, like I was doing so much, but my relationship with my wife wasn't the best. Right, I was doing so much, and my relationship with my kids weren't the best. And that hurts. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it
no doubt.
hurts. Like that's a painful feeling, to believe, right? Like you said, your actions change with your belief system. That is the worst feeling in the world, to believe that you're doing everything right, but you're still getting it wrong.
Oof.
The worst feeling in the world. It's the worst feeling in the world to believe that I'm doing this for the family, but the family doesn't respect me. Right. And when I
Mm.
say respect, I mean, not in the, in the traditional term of disrespect, but they don't respect the job. They don't care about that. They just want to go on a walk. Yo, come on,
Yeah,
let's just go to the park. And that's
yeah,
free. I ain't gotta pay for that, right?
yeah.
I ain't gotta pay for that. Like, oh, come on, let's just go in the park. Let's go to the museum. Let's just do something as a family.
Let's
You know
just
what I'm
spend
saying?
time. Yeah.
Let's just spend time. Like that's free. And so it came to the point where I'm paying for the disease, right?
Ooh.
When the
Ooh.
cure was free, the cure was free. The cure was free, but I'm paying for the disease. I'm paying for the disease. I'm paying to grind. I'm paying
We
to
working
have
hard.
to have,
We working hard for the for what's killing us.
exactly. We're working hard for what's killing us, and I think that realization, sometimes loss, is something that allows us to really step back. And so, being at a space while I was I'm in a space where, like I said, I was a public success. Like everybody had nothing but awesome things to say about me, and I'm the man, and people, I'm impacting so many people. But when I come home, it's empty, right? When I
Mm.
when I come home, we're on different sides of the bed. When I come home, I don't feel the love like I feel the love outside. And so I had to really just take an assessment. And so I would say to anybody, if whoever's listening to this, if you are at that space,
Yes.
put your family first, right? Please, matter of fact, put God first. So I
Yes.
so so I so I actually have, my order of operation is God, family, community, right? I put God first. Because if I keep reminding myself that I'm made in the image and likeness of God, that I want to move as a God, I want to create as a God, and I'm not lacking anything. There is nothing that I'm lacking. But number two, I put my family second to God. And so now I'm putting my family second, and I'm making sure that my family, gets to enjoy me at me being my God self, right? Because imagine if I'm putting community over family, and I'm operating my God self, but the community sees it, but not my family, right? And so I'm putting family second to God, and then comes my community. Then I'm serving the community. And what happens when I do that, I then have this fulfillment, right? Because when I'm putting God first, I have good health, right? Good spiritual health,
Yes.
right? Good mental health, good physical health. If I'm putting God first, I'm not eating, crazy things, because my body is my temple.
That's
And
right.
so I'm being cautious about what I'm putting in my system, because I want to be like God, right? And so now my good health is first. Now, by putting my good health first, I become happy, right? And then I move in love. And so as I'm moving in love, and I'm moving in love with my family, I'm moving in love with the community. Now I'm building this structure. And then now, as I serve the community, I now am being, taken care of abundantly. Now, I'm able to enjoy the fruits of my labor, because now when I make more money, we could go on vacation, right? Amidst all of the COVID-19, thing, my family and I, we're about to go out the country, what I'm saying, for 5 days, and enjoy. And I've created a system, so much so in my business, that even while we're out of the country, we'll still be making money, right? We'll still be making money, because money works for me. I don't work for money. I don't have to exchange my time for money, right? And so I created systems within my business that allows money to work for me. That is that's ultimate success, right? To have your cake and eat it. They created cakes for you to eat. So, like, have your cake and eat
it. Yes. Okay. So here's the deal. You teach people how to do this, correct? You teach people how to build these systems. You teach entrepreneurship. You teach how to create abundance from a wealth perspective, because you've been there. You've got it wrong and you've got it right. You talking about going on vacation 5 days, getting out of here. You live a different life now. Like I love this.
Yes.
I love this. You want to provide something for these men that is free.
Yes.
To help move the needle for them financially to get to this place that you're talking about. But don't gloss over what he's been talking about here. Look at this. How do you get out of it? God, family, community. Because if you're in line with God, guess what? You're going to start knowing who you are. You can start remembering who you are as a God, little G. He talked about quiet the noise, man. Too much of this stuff we're just chasing the wrong thing. Listen to everything he's talking about. By the way, this stuff don't happen overnight. Okay? Yeah. Remember the things that he's talking about, but in your wheelhouse, in terms of what you do, you help move the needle for people financially so that they can set themselves up to be able to do some of the things you're talking about, spend more time, and that time is adequately given to the right things. Man, Ash, thank you, man. Like, real talk. Thank you. Thank you for being a servant, man, and giving me. I mean, I was excited when I got on here, but I mean, now I'm about to go run. Like, I'm about to go get it. Thank you for reminding us who we were called to be, man, and how we can maximize our full potential as men, man. So I appreciate you. Listen, you guys, take advantage of what he's talking about. The 12-step freedomplan.com. Get that. It's information. Like you said, it's information. And what I've been telling you is that information plus application, you have to apply equals transformation. We're going to give you the information, great information, create application with that information so you can transform. So again, Ash, thank you for being part of the Elite Men Summit. Thank you for moving the needle for all of us as men. Men, we're God's little G, and it's time for us to get it. And so again, we appreciate you guys being on. And we look forward to the next interview. Make sure you plug in tomorrow. You'll get another interview here in your email. All the stuff we're talking about today will be in this email to be able to click, also be able to follow him, and where you can go to him on his website. Where can they follow you real quick? You do a lot of Instagram stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So my website is iamashcash.com. You can follow me on all social media platforms, same name, @IamAshCash.
Excellent. All right, you guys, listen, signing off. This is Dr. Brad and Ash Cash here helping you guys go from excellent to elite. We'll see you guys later.